Thank you very much. This is the worst, talking in front of people. This is awful. I talk in front of groups of 180, 200 people at work all the time, and they don't make me look at them. Hang on a second. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to welcome you aboard this wedding. We know you had a choice in weddings this afternoon. We're pleased you came to the Fulgenzi Lamar wedding. Thanks again. Now, I got a little something else. All right, so seriously, thanks for coming today. If you're in this room right now, it means you mean an awful lot to our family or the Lamar family. Now, this is such an exciting, long-awaited day for us. I'm sure people are thinking, these guys look really young to be getting married. Let me tell you why that doesn't just concern me at all. Now, I've known Maddie for a long time. Actually, I was the first person to hold her hand. Just after she came into this world. And I want to tell you, it was love at first sight. So Maddie was always a happy, smiley kid. I was blessed that no matter what passion I shared with her, fishing, flying airplanes, or just sitting up in a tree all day long waiting for a deer to walk by, my passions quickly became her passions. She was always my little buddy who was up for any new adventure. But more important than all that, she had a really sweet heart. Maddie always seemed to care more about other people than she did about herself. Let me just tell you a quick story, just try and explain where I'm coming from. So Maddie was 5, we had a birthday party for, and at the party we had a piñata. So we set up the piñata, they released all the candy, all the kids gathered around and scooped it up in their little bags, walked away with their treasures, and it was fine. And then 15 minutes later, 2 kids walked in the door. Without saying a word to her, little 5-year-old Maddie goes and gets her candy. And she gets another bag. She puts half in one, half in the other. And she goes up to the kids. She goes, "Hey, you guys, you missed the piñata. But don't worry, I saved your candy for you." And she gave it all away, just leaving nothing for herself. Now, we get comments sometimes, "Oh, you guys must be great parents. Maddie's so great, Grace so great, Quinn's so great." I got to tell you, I don't feel like we can take a lot of credit. This is who Maddie was when God gave her to us. And it's the kind of person she is to this day. She just cares so much about people and just doesn't give any consideration for her own needs or anything much at all. Now, little did I know, there was a sweet little boy growing up across town, just 20 minutes away. And he was always smiling and happy. He was called Giggle Puss by those who knew him best. First time I heard about Daniel, I heard there's some tall kid at youth group, and he's afraid to talk to Maddie. He thinks she might be out of his league. And I thought, I like the sound of this kid immediately. So right when they started dating, Maddie had an unfortunate run-in with a tennis net. Now, we learned something important that day. Maddie could jump over a tennis net once. She could jump over it 2 or even 3 times. Not so much 4 times, though. So on the 4th time, Maddie went over, fell down, and somehow broke both of her arms. So they had just started dating, and Daniel came over, and we're sitting at the kitchen table, and Maddie's sitting there with her arms. She's trying to feed herself, and it's not really working out so good. And Daniel right away, just so sweetly, goes over, and he has her little fork, and he's feeding her like a little baby bird with broken wings. Just right from the beginning, he was just sweetly taking care of her. And since then, I've seen him drive all the way 5 hours over from Ames just to surprise her, make her day special when she wasn't expecting it, throw on elaborate Valentine's Day surprises, and he put on a beautiful proposal on the shores of Lake Geneva that we'll never forget. My sisters will never forget it. Now, I see a lot in Daniel like I see in Maddie. He's a very selfless person, and he cares so much about my daughter. He cares about her more than he does himself. I'm sure of that. Now, I'm no expert on marriage. My 27 years of marriage, sorry, my notes say hold for applause. My 27 years of marriage can mostly be attributed to my wife just being a person who's very easy to be married to. But I do think I've learned a couple of things. I think Daniel and Maddie will have a long, successful marriage because they put the Lord first in everything that they do. They'll spend their marriage caring more about each other than they do about themselves. And if you do that, I think you're bound to make it. Now this week, the lead up, the day's been so busy, so hectic, so much emotion. I'm sure these kids tonight, when they go to the bridal suite, will be completely wiped out. I expect they'll put on the footy pajamas I bought for them and zip them all the way up to the top. Then they'll shake hands and they'll go to bed. That's the way I'm picturing it anyway. Anyways, everyone, thanks again for coming. Eat, drink, be merry. Thanks for being here.
For your river.